Welcome everybody to the Keys to Wisdom channel. This morning I just threw together here the most basic of line charts possible. I want to do so to give people a picture or a visual representation of what occurs as far as the charge of the consecutive order of the alphabet. This little website that I found is the most basic thing, and when I find something better where I can properly label everything, including all of the data points where the charges are, then I'll put out some bigger graphs. But I want to provide this. It gives a basic visual representation of what occurs. So this only allowed me to put numbers on the x-axis. So the letter A is number 1, and the letter Z is number 26. So as you can see here on the y-axis, the alphabet starts out uncharged at the letter A, uncharged at the letter B, and the fall occurs at letter C, where the word becomes ionized at C ion. That would be a -9 charge. The D that follows C is also a negatively charged character, and the fall drops from -9 at C to -54. E is the first character of Zion, Z ion, that goes the other way. It has a +18 charge, so it'll change the charge from -54 to -36. And on to F, we go back to -54. G, -108. H, -99. I, -126. J, -108. K, -126. L, -180. M, -171. N, -198. The first of the Twin Peaks, as low as it goes. O, -162. P is one of our balanced uncharged characters, just like the first two. So the charge at P remains -162. Then we get to our second of our Twin Peaks at Q, and again we're at -198, as low as it goes. At R, we come to -171. S, -180. T, -144. U, or the 21st position, is our fourth character, balanced just like the first two. So at U, we'll remain at -144. At V, -81. W, -54. X, -63. Y, -9. And at Z, the script flips charge completely to +9. This is also why we're going to be using the terminology of C ion, Scion, and Z ion, Zion, because they are the order position and the letters on the order positions where the charges take effect. At the end, from A to B, no charge. C is the fall. Everything in the consecutive order position of the alphabet remains a negative charge from C to Y. That's all C ion. Z ion is the rise. That's when you pop out of the negatively charged script created through the word, and it turns into a positively charge script. That's how I represent it anyways. If we wanted to represent it the other way, we would flop this around, and instead of it dropping, it would be the exact mirror image upward, and you would call the C +9, so on, and Z would dip below to -9. So once I find a good site that will allow me to put in even characters beyond the 1 to 26 alphabet, this site here is just the most basic. It's a little kid site. I kind of laugh because it took me a while to just to put this together on a little children's graph making site, but it would only allow you to go out to 31 consecutive positions, which again, I kind of got a chuckle out of that, right? Isn't 31 such a strange number to be ending things upon, like our month, like Genesis 1, right? And it ended at 31 as well, but it gets very significant when you go beyond 31, beginning at 32, which is a balanced character just like the first two, and then 33, which turns into a massive cliffstone. There's a lot of knowledge in knowing that ledge and what that 33rd consecutive character does, and we can map out the consecutive order charge and everything that occurs well beyond the 1 to 26. But in terms of our alphabet, when we're looking at the consecutive positions of the alphabet, this is a good representation of what occurs. So I'm going to put this out here. I'm going to look around for some better sites, something where I can label the letters exactly, something that provides the exact charges at each one of the points, and something that also allows you to go a lot deeper into the order beyond the full month, Genesis 1 to 31. But they say a picture is worth 1,000 words, and some people learn better in terms of having visual aids, and this is a good representation, very accurate, even though it's not perfectly labeled at each point exactly what the charges are. This is what the charge and the pattern of the word produces from A to Z, and perhaps in the video I'll I'll rotate it and represent it as the mountain, the Twin Peaks mountain, as well. Rotate it so that it starts out from the right hand side and basically produces the exact mirror image. It'll still be labeled as far as minus whatnot, but this is a very basic part of everything, but it's a fundamental thing to come to understand because we're dealing with an ionized alphabet, which is kind of an oxymoron because alpha, the first Greek, bet, the second Hebrew, there is no ionization within alphabet. We're dealing with an ionized ABCs. Now I know my ABCs. The ABCs are ionized. The alphabet is not ionized. Our terminology calling A, B to Z alphabet is not really accurate, right? Alphabet is the title of the first two characters only, and the rest of it is not part of the alphabet. The rest of it is actually a different script. The entire first script is the first two characters from before the foundation found at Ion. There is no charged. Right? Here we're in a charged world. Absolutely everything here is charged. Right? Alpha Bet is actually pre-light. Right? You don't have any light unless you have two objects that are charged opposite. Then you can have discharges and you can have light. Right? So when Genesis 1 goes through and says, in the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth was formless and void, and the Spirit of God was hovering above the sea in Genesis 1-2. That's all pre-light, just like it says, right? In Genesis 1-3, and then God said, let there be light, and there was light. Well, how did the light occur? That first ion. The Spirit of God was literally hovering above the sea. Right? That's where the light occurs, right? There is no light. Everything starts with no light. And the light occurs at the fall, at the sea, at the ionization. Right? And then when you get over here to Z and it finally flips the script and changes the charge of the ion, it's also going to produce light, but it's going to produce light in the exact opposite way of the light that was produced at C and all the way throughout the fall. Right? The controlling charge of the one side from C all the way to Y is controlling that light. At Z, when it flips, Z, the opposite side charge, would now be controlling the light. So these are some big principles to get an introduction to. And like I said, I will go out and find a better site. If anybody out there is familiar with a good site, or somebody out there that is very skilled with making different types of graphs and stuff, drop me a line and perhaps you can help me come up with the materials to display and show what is going on a lot better than what I have here. But this is the pattern. This is the accurate representation of the charges, and I was not very happy with the results of it, but it's good enough to basically get the gist of everything out there this morning. And a lot of people will picture the alphabet in order, and they don't have a picture like this, an understanding to go with it. Right? Once you get this down and you have this with that consecutive order, you've got a different ability to understand and comprehend what is going on with the word. So we're going to do a lot of stuff like this eventually once I get somebody to help me, or I figure out the way to help myself to produce a lot better materials. We'll produce all kinds of different graphs, all kinds of different order lengths. We'll look into the entire full month, the rest of the 5 trees of paradise, 27 to 31. We'll go into the third script, 32 on. We could even chart the entire charge of our year, 1 to 366 days, and show what's going on in the consecutive order position that far out. The only limit will be whatever the amount of data points that the tools allow us to display at any one time. But with that said, please like the video, share the video, and subscribe to the channel if you feel like that's something you should do. And Have a nice day.